Hello, uh, I am John, and I am going to play Doom 1, Episode 1 in Ultraviolence. At least I assume I'm going to play Episode 1. To be honest, I'm just kind of playing this because I feel like it. So I don't know how long I'm going to actually play. You see, it's about 2 a.m., right? Yeah, 2 a.m. And instead of sleeping, a reasonable thing, I am sitting here playing Doom. I just got I just got done with a very long call with a friend from one of my classes. His YouTube channel, which is much more important to his identity than his real name, of course. And for me to reference him, is Racecar627. I highly recommend, if you enjoy this video and me rambling for some reason, you will enjoy his channel, because I'm doing this pretty much because I'm, I guess you could say, inspired by him. You see, I have this thing where I want to make a YouTube video, and then I don't make a YouTube video, and then I think, why did I not make a YouTube video? That's what I want to do. And then I remind myself that I have a bad habit of starting things and not finishing them, and not doing things I want to do for really stupid reasons, like, trying to be a perfectionist about it, because it's like, well, in order to be perfect at something, you have to know what you're doing, and I don't know what I'm doing, so I might as well not even try to even go there. But even if you don't, and, obviously, even if you do know what you're doing, it doesn't mean it's going to be perfect. It just means it has a higher chance of being good, I guess. So I'm throwing everything out the window, and instead this will be bad, and you can either choose to watch it or not. So, yeah. Sorry, that sounds a bit aggressive. I don't know, I just really wanted to make a video on it, honestly. Let me just put it that way. I wanted to make a video, so now I am. But anyways, Doom. I honestly chose Doom just because it's a game that I'm pretty familiar with, so, like, I'd be comfortable playing it in the background and not thinking about it too much. Other games that I was thinking of using for that reason were Half-Life 2, specifically Half-Life 2, because Half-Life 1, I've played it, and I've kind of sort of beat it, meaning that I played through, like, all of it, and then I got really annoyed at Zen, and then cheated through Zen because I wasn't really enjoying it. But, I wouldn't remember where to go in some places in Half-Life 1, and I'd end up getting stuck, probably. Wait, no, I already activated that. But yes. So this exactly what you're hearing right now, me rambling, is just going to be this entire video. So, feel free to just have this kind of on in the background, that sort of thing. Feel free to tell me that this sucks, and, if every part of this sucks, and rip. If you have a more specific thing where this could be better, I'd appreciate that, especially, because that's a lot easier for me to work off of, Anyways, feel free to listen to this, like, in the background of doing something that you enjoy. So Doom's a game I've been playing for quite a while. I probably first played it when I was like, it's hard to say, but maybe like 11 or so. There's this guy on YouTube who's actually the first YouTuber I can really think of watching on YouTube. His name is Piece of Pie Software. And he still exists and makes videos to this day, so if your curiosity obliges you enough, feel free to also look him up and sub to him and stuff. But he's this British guy. I feel the need to describe him as a bloke because he's British, but we'll avoid that. I had I fat-fingered caps button, which turns on always run. Anyways, but this Piece of Pie Software guy was like the first YouTube person I watched, and I forgot what I was going with this. Oh, right, that's right. So I watched him, and I really enjoyed his videos, and I just liked the way he talked, and it wasn't always Doom that I heard him play, or maybe it was, I honestly don't remember. But I saw him, a lot of his videos were him playing Doom WADs, which, if you don't know anything about Doom, well, first of all, it's a game released in 1993 by a wonderful company by the name of id Software that revolutionized the games industry 3 times in a row with their first-person shooters, Wolfenstein 3D, Doom, and Quake. But regardless, a WAD is just what Doom... Basically, it's just what Doom calls mods, but also what it actually is like a package file, you know, it's like a folder. Like, WAD stands for Where's All the Data. Anyways, I watched Piece of Pie Software play WADs of Doom, along with other things, and I really thought Doom looked like a cool game. Being a kid, you know, Doom's a very arcadey game, so you know, it could very easily appeal to a lot of younger children, as much as it appeals to an adult of the time period it came out. But ever since then, I've been playing Doom, and to be very forthright, for a long time I played Doom not legally. You can easily find the WAD, what's called an iWAD, or like the WAD for the game itself, as opposed to like a mod WAD. But you could easily find the iWADs for all of the Doom games all over the internet. Maybe slightly less so now. At least as far as I can tell, it seems like I don't think id's cracked on a bunch of people, but it seems that because of the whole thing with emulators and Nintendo and some other companies getting mad at people for hosting illegal stuff of old games, it seems like Doom is one of the games that has been removed from some sites, interestingly enough. But, you know, whatever. Anyways, Doom is a really good game, and I'd be lying if I said I played it every day, but I definitely have my I've definitely had my periods of time where I binged like nothing but this game and the other games in the series. That's the other thing. Doom and Doom 2 are like the same game. Doom 2 is just like a level pack, essentially, with some like new weapons and new enemies, which is cool, but you know, the game itself is the same. Some people like to complain about stuff like COD and Counter-Strike for being the same game every time. Even games held in the sacred hearts of epic gamers, you know, not all of them are entirely unique in their own series. I mean, I guess it's worth noting Doom changed a lot with Doom 3, and especially now with Doom, what was it, 2016, I guess people call it. But anyways, Doom's a pretty good game. It's pretty simple. You run around, get some key cards if necessary to progress, and you just kind of get to the end of the level. There's technically a story about scientists opening a portal to hell or something like that, and then they find out that well, demons come through the portal and then take over the base and kill all your Marine buddies, because you are playing as Marine. There's one of the dead bodies there. But yeah, You may have noticed that there's like secrets and stuff I say as I run through the secret door. Doom, although it definitely is less arcadey than the games that came before it, like Wolfenstein and stuff, it's still pretty arcadey, by modern standards. Because, I feel like a lot of modern games and modern movies, and that, for that matter, try to be a lot more serious, and everything's like, ugh, so real. And I'm not downing that, because I actually really enjoy a lot of things that do that. But Doom has arcadey things like secrets, and the fact that the story doesn't really matter. I mean, you can choose to pay attention to it if you want. There's not many opportunities to do so. The only time the game elaborates on anything, kind of, is after every episode, and in Doom 2 after, I don't know if it's some amount of levels. Oh shit, I go the right way? Yeah, I think I got both things. Okay, but they have like these text screens, and you'll see it at the end of this episode too, but there's like these text screens that are like spitting exposition at you. Don't want to go to the secret level. Oh yeah, and there's secret levels, by the way. There's one in each episode in this game, and there's 2 in Doom 2. I think that's right. Wait, what did I miss? I'm missing something. Shoot. When I'm looking, there's supposed to be like a bridge here, and that there's like a thing there, and it leads you to a secret level. To be honest, I don't really like the secret level that much, so I'm just gonna pretend that didn't happen. I'm sorry, people who play Doom who are watching this. Yeah, I honestly forgot what triggers that bridge to come up. Another reason I really like Doom, going back to the thing I was talking about, is that Doom has a very simple... Well, I already mentioned that it's simple, but especially making levels for Doom is simple. And I actually want to get into game design, or at least that's something I've decided as of recent, and hopefully my mind won't change later for some stupid reason. But Doom has very easy levels to design compared to other games because it's not 3D. Now, you can definitely tell that some things are not like real 3D. Like you can see these things are just like these are sprites, as they call them. If you move around them, they turn to face you, and even real 3D games, some of them use that. But Doom, I actually don't entirely know the technical details of how Doom is rendered, but Doom, all these like 3D looking walls and moving around and all that, it's not what it actually is. As far as I can describe it, is I believe it's something. It's just an illusion that changes based on the perspective of like which room you're in. Because Doom has like things called sectors, which is basically rooms, but it's not really 3D, so the sectors are 2D. If you draw a sector on the ground, you can move the floor and you can move the ceiling. So, for example, this outer ring area surrounding this middle thing, that would be like a sector. And a sector can have like brightness, it can have... Again, you could change the floor and ceiling height. You can put things in a sector, and a thing, which I believe it would be referred to as an entity if you're talking about pretty much any other game, but a thing is just like an object. It could be a monster, it could be a... I don't want to get that yet. It could be a monster, it could be an object. It's literally anything that isn't a wall, essentially. Not like a switch, though. A switch would be part of a line, which is just, sectors are made out of lines. But anyway, sorry, I don't want to get too far into that because that's probably really boring. For anyone who isn't like into game stuff the behind the scenes of game stuff as much as me. But anyways, basically since Doom is not real 3D, it's a lot easier to make levels for because it's inherently a lot simpler. Basically, its limits are at its advantage in terms of that. But so yeah, I have a couple Doom levels that I'm trying to make. I thought it is kind of in the back of my mind, like maybe I can make a megawad, which means like a full set of levels to replace like the same amount of levels as there is levels in the actual game. So basically a whole nother Doom that's entirely made by me, essentially. But I don't think I'd have the dedication to do that. If I did that, it'd be like over a very long span of time and not like something I'm intentionally doing within, say, a month or something. But, yeah. Yeah. Speaking of me, I mentioned earlier that I have a habit of starting projects and not finishing them. That idea, hence why I don't know if that's the greatest thing to attempt. The other thing is that I feel like I'll be tempted to make crappy levels if I try to make that many intentionally, so, you know, we'll see. Oh yeah, something I wanted to mention is the idea of, you know, people always say that you should, like, let's say you're trying to be an entrepreneur or really do anything where you're trying, where part of your goal, at the least, is to, you know, quote unquote, be successful. I guess you could say anything is like that, not really just like business stuff, but you get my idea. Or you get what I'm saying. I think YouTube is very much like that. You know, you want to make a video and you want it to do well. You want people to actually watch it, because it's like, oh, well, if a bunch of people don't watch it, then what's the point? You know, then I'm just essentially talking to myself, and that's weird. Honestly, that's coming from me. I talk to myself a lot. And you know what? Fight me, because it's not because I don't know how to talk to real people. It's because it's honestly how I practice talking to real people. I feel like a lot of my social skills, ironically, are developed, or at least my talking skills are developed because I like to express my thoughts out loud, which I guess is essentially what this video is, so hey. Anyways, where I was going with that thought earlier is that I need to just make things like this, and I think if you're someone out there who wants to make something, at some point you need to just make it. Because if you just ponder it forever and you don't do anything, then, well, congratulations, you haven't done anything. And, you know, I understand where you're coming from. Again, literally, exactly what I'm going through. But, you know, you gotta push yourself to just do it. And I don't think that's not just something with YouTube with me. That's something with getting homework done, or really just anything that any sort of thing that I want or need to do that also happens to have some other standard set, then okay, get it done, you know. Like you do, like you do a homework assignment, if it's graded for, assuming it's graded for correction, not completion, it's like, oh, well, I want to get it done, and then your thought turns to, oh, I want to get this done, but oh man, that's going to be hard to get it right, so I need to make sure that I can get it right. Or and then you like overlook at notes and then you give up because it's taking too long already, or you just make yourself procrastinate. This is turning into a cluster of thoughts, but you get what I'm saying. The point is, procrastinating sucks, and it sucks. Don't procrastinate. Easier said than done, sure. But like, if you're gonna procrastinate, at least at least set some sort of boundary where you'll either stop doing it or only do it under certain conditions. So so I'm in my spring semester now of my freshman year of college, and my first semester I failed a class. I failed Calculus 1 specifically, and I have a lot of excuses as to the reason why, but instead of getting into those, I'm just going to be honest and say that it was because I learned that I didn't have to attend the lecture, and so instead of attending the lecture, I would watch the uploaded version of the lecture that the professor posts, and that ended up leading to me essentially not watching the lectures at the pace I should be and getting behind, which led to me doing poor in the quizzes. Well, not terrible. Some of them I did bad on, but not like that alone wasn't why I failed the class. What happened though was that I realized that I couldn't just sift through the class and easily do great in it, unlike, high school. I know, another classic case of some stupid kid thinking that college is easy and then getting wrecked by it. But, shoot. I just really did not budget time with anything well freshman year. And what I did to change that was what I'm doing to change that this semester, I'm making a concentrated, specific effort to go. Oh, I don't need to go in here actually. I'm making a specific effort to go to like libraries and other buildings that have like computers in them, so that I'm not trying to get all my homework done in my dorm room, because that's what I was doing last semester, and that's really bad. And I'd heard enough people praising the idea of going somewhere else to do your homework other than like the place where you like screw around, because it just works out psychologically. And I want to say that is an incredibly helpful piece of information that I happened to overhear from a few people, and I'm really happy. I'm really glad that they told me that. And I wanted to say, like, if you're having a hard time getting your stuff done, and you happen to be just sitting in your room all the time or something like that, or if you happen to be sitting in your room too often, make yourself go out and study in different places. Not necessarily like a bunch of different places, but like study somewhere different than where you generally screw around. Or just study outside of your dorm room. How about that? Another thing too is, if you're sitting around in your room in the sense that you're not involving yourself in your campus, go out and do things. Like, go. If you quite literally don't have friends, you gotta make some sort of friends. You don't have to find your soulmate or your best buddy for life, but find someone that you are cool enough with and who is cool enough with you to hang out with. Because, man, I cannot tell you how immediate, when I hung out with a couple people once in a while, I felt so much better, and like felt from that thing that has nothing to do with my schoolwork, I felt more motivated to do schoolwork. That is so helpful. And I'm not going to get too preachy here and try to tell you how to do everything, but it's just, I just wanted to say that development so far is really helping me stay on top of things. We'll see how. Hopefully it lasts and stays that way. Yeah, I hope I didn't start a point and then not end it here. I think that's that was a complete thought. Let's see. College. Yeah, I guess something I'll talk about. I guess I'll talk about college in general. Actually, another reason that I did poorly on that math class last semester was that to be completely honest, was not sure if I wanted to continue college, and it wasn't because I was doing bad in the class. Though obviously, emotionally, that didn't help. It was more, I was thinking about my reason, why am I here? And what am I going to get out of this experience? And eventually, given that I'm still here, you can obviously infer that I concluded that I wanted to stick around. But I was questioning myself quite a lot. And it wasn't that I wanted to quit as much as it was just I wanted to take a while to like seriously consider what my motivations are for things. And that's something I don't think I will completely resolve ever. And I think that's probably a normal thing that most people experience and at least somewhat relate to. But you know, it was a thought. But as opposed to last semester, oh, that's right. The other thing was that all of my classes last semester were prereqs or gen eds or whatever you want to call them. I needed them for my major, but they weren't like specifically for my major. This semester is different. All of my classes, with the exception of that Calc 1 that I'm retaking, are there we go. All of them are at least relevant to the category my major is in broadly. That is engineering technology, because I'm an audio engineering technology major. What my major is electrical engineering technology, but with some audio classes pre-chosen as my electives, quote unquote. Other than Calculus 1, I got Foundations of Tech, which is like a general engineering technology thing. I have Intro to C programming, which I guess that maybe that's a gen ed technically, but I don't know. I don't think of it as such. I think because, well, it's really interesting to me. It's a thing that I very much so might end up using on the job. So it's not like it's irrelevant. And also, since I want to do game design from that angle, I want to learn more about coding anyways, so that I could use it for that. And it's I forgot if I mentioned this already, but it was Intro to C programming. Specifically C, like the language C. And C is a very useful language to know if you're getting into programming. Crap, how do I open that door? I forgot. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that class. It's cool. I also got Intro to Sound Design and Technology, which is my first audio related class. It is about placement of speakers, some stuff about sound. I don't actually know entirely every detail about it yet because we just started. And it's not, what am I going to do? Actually read the syllabus you're supposed to read? Pfft, no one does that. But that seems really cool, and that's directly related to my major. I think that's all my classes. There's a fair chance I'm forgetting one. But you know, I'm happy to have things that are relevant to me. It makes me feel a lot better about spending time and being here. But yeah. I'm at Purdue University, by the way. I don't think I've mentioned that anywhere, much less this video. Pretty nice school. I came here mostly because my family wanted me to. But that isn't a bad thing because I didn't have a strong preference for college. So, that's completely fine. I'm like, oh, it's a good school. It was kind of near where I lived, so it was convenient. It was in-state, and generally was a good place to go. Oh yeah, speaking of college also, I want to talk about engineering technology just because I feel like it. And there is a very pronounced stigma for anyone who even knows what engineering technology is and knows what engineering is. There's a very big stigma that like engineering technology is just like an easier version of engineering, and that like people who get that sort of degree aren't real engineers, quote unquote. And as much as you could say I'm biased for going into engineering technology, and that, oh, well, okay, well, that kid, he must be, he just wants to have an easier class also, or easier classes also. In my humble opinion, from what I've learned now about engineering technology, and to be honest, up until maybe a week ago, I did not have a very solid definition of what the difference was, but now I feel like I have a better understanding. And the difference is that an engineer, very vaguely, engineering is more theoretical, and engineering technology is more practical. Now, what that actually means is, well, it means nothing, first of all, because both are incredibly vague, even considering that. But there's this wonderful picture I saw that really put it in a good way, and especially the way the professor described it. So basically, if you're an engineer, you're probably going to be more theoretical, like I said. But what that means is stuff like research, complex design, things of that end that are more of planning and designing more than like making things, if that makes sense. Whereas an engineering technology, you won't be designing as theoretically complex things, and you're more likely to be slightly more oriented towards like business stuff when you're with your designs, as opposed to bare functionality. But like, you still design things, but it's just not. It's not to the same, I guess you could say, advanced level as engineering. But the trade-off is that you learn probably, at least from what I can tell, you learn more than engineers do about operating, I guess certain machinery and stuff. That might not be entirely true. Okay, when I said keep in mind I said I have a better grasp. I never have a good grasp. I hope I didn't say I had a good grasp. If I did, I lied. It's a confusing topic, but given my classes, that I'm interested in them, I think I'll just stick with this major. So, I don't know, I shouldn't have brought this up, whatever. Doom. I want to go back to talking about Doom, actually. Did I mention this game is friggin' awesome? Because it is. And, if you're looking to find this game, it is on Steam. It's on Steam. It's on I don't know for a fact, but it's probably on GOG, which is goodoldgames.com. It's a very, very popular game. People say that I believe it's somewhere in like one of the top 10 best-selling games of all time. which is pretty cool. It's just generally a freaking awesome game. There's the blue key. id Software is awesome. They're not at all the company they used to be. I don't mean that in as like a conspiracy theory sort of way. I mean that as in they're literally the people that are in there. A lot of the original guys who made this game, for example, are not at id Software anymore. But they still made Doom 2016, or at least Bethesda did, and pretty cool. I think this game is better than Doom 2. Doom 2, as I mentioned earlier, added weapons and enemies and maps, obviously, because it's technically a different game. This game is a lot better, though, in my opinion, just purely because of the level design. Doom 2 felt very... I don't know if rushed is the word, although I hear that it was rushed compared to this game, but Doom 2 feels very, at some points, cheap or just lazy. The levels, in my opinion, are kind of... Some of them are pretty good, like the first 3 or 4 I like a lot, but they just feel very... They don't feel like... They go a little bit too much to feeling like a game and don't feel at all like a real place, which is a tough balance to achieve with a Doom map in general. This game, you may notice, barely looks like something compared to like a modern game that makes it actually look like a place. But this game still feels like you're in a base and stuff like that. Whereas Doom 2, to me, really felt like nothing but a collection of rooms or boxes or whatever. And it kind of, that's not 100% of what makes Doom, so it's not like that ruins it entirely for me. But that, alongside the fact that it felt kind of cheap at some points with like enemy placement and not having enough ammo and stuff like that, I just like this game a lot more. This game feels like it has more character, Also, I think the music is generally better in this game, too. Although, it's the same guy that did the music for both, and the same guy who did levels for both, I believe, so... Not saying the people are bad, just, this one's better. I guess that's true of a lot of sequels. They're not as good as the first. Oh, crap. I might die here. That was very poor decision-making on my part. Okay, yep, I'm about to die. Okay, that was very stupid of me. But this Doom 2 isn't as good as this one, IMO. Doom 3, I just could not... I've tried to get myself to play through all of Doom 3 several times, and I couldn't. I think I should give it another try now. I might be able to get through it now, but I just wasn't really exactly grasped by the whole feel of that game. Like, it's cool, but it just kind of gets old very quickly for me. After playing like an hour or two of it, I feel like I've had my share of the game, and I just kind of don't want to play it anymore. And like I'd think about it a couple days later, and I'm like, yeah, I still don't feel like playing it. So, unfortunately, I never played through Doom 3. Doom 1, I've beaten the first 3 episodes, and I've beaten about half of Doom 2, but I actually still need to play through those games, because a lot of times, even though I've been playing Doom for a long time, I mostly just played like wads of it and stuff, and screwed around with like, oh, what does this stupid thing change the weapons to look like? And I just played like the first parts of the game over and over without actually seeing the rest of the game, because then I just switched to the next mod. But or I'd play like custom maps and stuff. Because the thing of Doom is that it's old, and because it still has a community today, there's a lot of new maps for it that are subjectively a lot better than the base game, or at least are visually a lot better than the base game. And, you know, since I was a little kid, being 11, you kind of... You pay attention, you notice the fact that they look better, and that's kind of all that matters because you're 11. So, I'm starting the second episode here, apparently. I don't know if I'm actually going to finish this. But, yeah. I think I've rambled enough, actually, so yeah, sure. We'll call this, we'll save this, and I know that's a wonderful name there. We'll call this YouTube. That's my save. I hope you've enjoyed this rambling. If you were trying to get something done while listening to this, I hope that either got done well or is going well, and the next video, whatever video you watch after this, will suit you well for that. So thanks for watching, and have a good one. And one quick note: I know my mic in this video is pretty bad. I'm using the Apple EarPods. I have an actual studio mic, not like I say studio mic because it's XLR, but whatever. But it's actually a decent mic. What I don't have is a mic stand, and I don't have a proper setup in general. So for now, I kind of have to use these because it's actually better, believe it or not, than the good mic. Because if I use the good mic, I don't have anything to hold it up, so I'd be like holding it awkwardly while trying to play, or I'd set it down and turn the gain up massively to compensate, and it would suck because it's not designed to cancel out background noise, as opposed to these earpods, which are actually able to do things like that. I could also buy like an actual mic that's meant for like voice stuff that does cancel stuff and is also a good mic, but you know, I'm not going to buy a bunch of things. What do you think? I'm not a college student. Anyways, have a good one.